The strange signal asterisk, Captain Kale stood at the center of the command deck of the Vortex Claw, the lead ship of the alien armada. The bridge was too quiet. The crew monitored the empty space beyond their glass panels, expecting nothing but darkness. They were deep inside the no-signal zone near human borders, where space was quiet, cold, and dead. Suddenly, a sharp beep broke the silence. "Captain, long-range sensors just picked up something strange," reported the comms officer. Eyes wide. "It's large, very large." Kale turned quickly. "Location?" "Sector 9 Gamma. It wasn't there a second ago." Another officer added, "Sir, the energy signature, it matches Terran frequency patterns. But this one is different. It's stronger. Older human warships never gave off this much power." Kale narrowed his eyes. A human warship? Here? That couldn't be right. The humans had gone quiet after the last war. Their fleets had vanished. Some believed Earth was rebuilding. Others said they were hiding Dot. But now, one single ship was. "Here, put it on screen," Kale ordered. The main view shifted. At first, nothing. Just the stars. Then a shape slowly came into view. A long black silhouette. Silent, still, like a shadow floating in space. It wasn't broadcasting any ID. No calls, no warnings. Just there. Watching Dot, a chill passed over the entire bridge. Why is it not moving? Someone whispered Dot Kale. Didn't answer. He could feel it too. Something was wrong. That ship wasn't a mistake. It wasn't lost. It was waiting. The radar officer spoke again, voice shaking. "Sir, its shield strength is off the charts. And it's charging. Something. Slowly. Deliberately." Kale clenched his jaw. "Send a scout drone. I want a closer look." The drone shot forward at high speed, blinking through space toward the silent Terran ship. The entire bridge watched the screen. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, a flash. The drone vanished. No warning. No explosion. Just gone. Gasps filled the bridge. "No projectile fired," the weapons officer said, stunned. "It just disappeared." Now, real fear crept in. Even Kale felt it deep in his chest. "They didn't even fire a shot," someone said. "What kind of tech is that?" Kale turned slowly, trying to keep his voice calm. "Alert the fleet. Red level. All ships, prepare for combat." Lights across the deck turned red. Orders echoed across the armada. Warships shifted into defense formation. Weapons armed. Shields raised. But the Terran warship didn't move. Dot still floated, unbothered, unafraid, watching. Kale second. Officer leaned in. "Captain, we should retreat. That ship destroyed the drone without firing, and it hasn't even moved yet." Kale looked at the screen again. It felt less like a ship, and more like a beast. One that wasn't attacking, because it didn't need to. "Retreat, and we show fear," Kale muttered. "We outnumber it 50-1. But what if numbers don't matter?" The officer asked quietly. Silence again. On the lower deck, young crew members whispered among themselves. Stories from the last war, about human warships that vanished into deep space, that moved like ghosts, that ended battles in minutes. Kale stepped forward. "No more waiting. Send 2 cruisers forward. Standard scan and hail protocol." The cruisers moved ahead, lights blinking, weapons low. They began scanning the Terran ship. A moment later, they sent a hail and open channel request. Still, the human warship didn't respond. Then suddenly, a signal appeared. Dot, it wasn't a voice. It was a message, just 6 words. "Do not come closer. Final warning." Kale's blood turned cold. "Sir," the comms officer said, voice shaking. This was sent in perfect Gal standard. No accent, no code, Just a direct warning. Cale stared at the screen. He had ordered ships into battle hundreds of times, faced pirates, rebels, invaders, but never had a single line of text shaken him like this. Something inside him whispered, this wasn't an ordinary Terran ship. This was something more. Something built for ending things. The kind of ship that arrives only once. Can never leave survivors. First visual contact. Captain Cale stood still, staring at the screen. The message from the Terran ship repeated again, slowly and coldly. Do not come closer. Final warning. The bridge of the vortex claw was dead silent. Outside, 2 alien cruisers floated just kilometers away from the Terran vessel. The black warship hadn't moved an inch, but something about its stillness was terrifying. It felt alive. Double quotes, sir. The cruisers are requesting orders, said the guns officer. They are scared, but still holding position. Cale clenched his fists. Tell them to maintain distance. Do not scan again. Do not provoke. Just observe. The visual feed from the closest cruiser came through the main screen. At first, just the darkness of space. Then the image shifted, and the human ship came into full view. It was huge, much larger than any human ship ever recorded in their databases. Its hull was covered in dark armor plating, matte black and scarred. Some parts even looked melted, like it had flown through fire. There were no lights, no windows, no ship name. Only a glowing red slit at the front like a single eye, watching everything. The bridge crew stared in silence. It doesn't look like a normal ship, one of the officers whispered. It looks like a hunter. It looks like it's breathing, another added. Cale said nothing, but he agreed. The Terran ship didn't just float, it watched. Its position wasn't random. It had chosen this exact place, this exact moment. It's not responding to pings anymore, the comms officer reported. It's just waiting. Cale walked slowly toward the screen. Waiting for what? A moment later, the answer came. The red slit at the front of the Terran ship began to glow brighter. A humming sound, like a low growl, echoed through the sensors. Then it happened. A thin beam of red light shot out, not toward the alien cruisers, but into open space. No damage, no explosion, just a line. Cale stared. Is that a marker? The second officer stepped forward. Sir, it's drawing. A line. And then the realization hit the room like thunder. It's a boundary, Cale said. That's their line. They're telling us cross this and die. One of the cruisers, nervous and unsure, floated a few meters closer. The Terran warship responded instantly. There was no flash, no noise. Just 1 second of silence, and then the cruiser was gone. Atomized. Not a single piece left. Screams echoed across the bridge of the vortex claw. The surviving cruiser backed away fast, almost colliding with another ship. Cale slammed his fist on the console. Get that ship back in formation. Order the fleet to hold position. No one crosses that line. But panic was already spreading. Sir, multiple ships are requesting withdrawal. Shouted a young officer. Another shouted. Several captains are asking if they can break formation. They don't want to be next. Cale's face darkened. He had seen fear before. But this was something else. This was pure dread. One ship, one Terran warship, had silenced an entire armada. They think we're prey, one of the lieutenants said softly. Cale turned. What? That ship. It's circling us like a predator, waiting to see which one runs first. Cale gritted his teeth. Then we don't run. But deep inside, even Cale wasn't sure. What kind of ship destroys a cruiser with no weapon signature? What kind of tech even does that? And more importantly, why hadn't it finished the fight already? What Was it waiting for? The screen shifted again. A new signal appeared, this time not from the Terran ship, but from deep space behind it. Got another energy signature. Dot bigger, dot stronger, dot double quotes. Sir, whispered the sensor chief. It's not alone. Kale's eyes went wide. What did you say? The Terran ship was a scout. Everyone on the bridge froze. Dot, and in that moment, Kale knew. They hadn't seen the full power of humanity. They had only seen the invitation. The fear within. Asterisk alarms stayed quiet, but fear screamed louder than any siren. Captain Kale sat stiff in his command chair, eyes locked on the sensor screen. The Terran warship still hovered in the same spot, silent, motionless, deadly. But now there was something else. Another energy signature behind it. Bigger, hidden in deep space. It's cloaked, whispered the sensor officer. We don't have full data, but it's massive. Maybe 5 times the size of the Scout. 5? Kale repeated. Yes, Captain. And it's not alone. There may be more. The bridge dimmed as red emergency lights glowed along the ceiling. Crew members moved slower now, carefully, like even one wrong sound might provoke the beast outside. Kale scanned the faces around him. These were trained officers, soldiers, veterans, but their eyes were filled with terror. A young lieutenant finally asked what they were all thinking. Why are the humans doing this? Why just one ship? Kale stood. Because they want us to see. They want us to fear. This is psychological warfare, and it's working. Another voice came from behind. It was Commander Huro, Kale's oldest. Friend and most trusted second. His voice was low. Maybe it's not a scout ship. Kale turned. What do you mean? What if? Huro said slowly. That warship isn't even crewed? What if it's autonomous, sent as a message? Or worse, a test? The idea sent a cold wave through the bridge. A human warship that didn't need a crew. One that didn't talk, didn't show mercy, just appeared, destroyed, and waited for orders. I controlled? Someone whispered, like the ghost class from the old files? Kale remembered those file ships that vanished, ships never caught on any scanner again. Ships that only appeared once, just before whole fleets disappeared from history. Wouldn't? Kale began, but his words died in his mouth. They would. They were human. Outside the ship, the black Terran vessel made no move. But the surviving alien ships were starting to shift out of formation. Small changes. A few meters here, a few degrees there. But it was enough to break the shape of the armada. They're panicking, said Huro. If this continues, the entire fleet will fall apart without a single shot. Kale nodded grimly. That's the plan. They want us to destroy ourselves from the inside. Another officer turned from his screen. Captain, it's not just our fleet. We're picking up signals from other sectors. Nearby patrol groups. They're also reporting unknown shadows. Similar energy signals. All Terran. Kale's eyes widened. They've surrounded us. No warning. No war declaration. Just a web of invisible ships. Tightening dot, he opened a private line to Central Command. Static dot another try. Nothing. They've jammed our communication. The comms officer confirmed. We can't reach anyone outside this region. Kale knew then this was no random event. It was a move. Strategic. Coordinated. Human dot a trap, set long ago. And now closing dot the bridge grew colder with silence. Kale broke it. Play the message again. The screen lit up. The same 6 words appeared in red across the display. Do not come closer. Final warning. But now those words felt heavier. Not just a message, but a verdict. What if we do nothing? Ask the navigation officer. Stay still. Wait. Don't fire. Don't scan. Kale shook his head. It won't matter. They're not waiting for us to act. They're watching how we respond to fear. A sound beeped. A new signal. Kale turned quickly. What is it? The crew went pale. It's from the second energy source, said the sensor chief. They're sending a countdown. The number blinked on the screen. 0 hours 15 minutes and 0 seconds time to full activation. 15 minutes dot until what? Kale didn't ask. He already knew. That second ship wasn't waiting. It was charging. And whatever happened after that timer hit 0 would change the galaxy. He looked around his crew, silent, frozen, helpless dot, and for the first time in his life, Kale wondered, was this what it felt like? When prey realized the predator was already inside the room. Whispers of Earth. The countdown on the screen continued. 0 hours 13 minutes and 42 seconds. 0 hours 13 minutes and 41 seconds. 0 hours 13 minutes and 40 seconds. Captain Kale stood still, his eyes fixed on the red ticking numbers. Each second felt like a heartbeat getting louder. A Terran scout ship floated silently, still glowing from within like an awakened beast. Behind it, the second, unseen. Giant only a shadow in the data charged in silence. A storm was coming. Commander Huro, Kale said, open the old Terran war files, the ones restricted by command level 6. Huro looked surprised. Those are sealed for a reason. Open them. Now. A few taps. Password overrides. The screen lit up again, and then silence fell over the bridge as the ancient footage began to play. Old battles. Grainy recordings from the last war with Earth. A single human destroyer taking out an entire orbital station. Troop drops on death worlds, where humans ran through fire without armor. One clip showed a Terran soldier lifting a battle tank. Another showed a Terran child barely, a teen programming battlefield. Drones faster than 5 alien technicians combined. And worst of all, a voice message. Recovered from a fallen alien commander. We thought they were just soft-skinned. Bipeds. We thought wrong. Their world made them monsters. They do not adapt to war. They are born from it. Gasps echoed through the bridge. Young officers turned pale. One even stepped back from his screen. They're not just strong, one whispered. They're different. Built to survive what would kill any of us. Kale nodded slowly. Earth is not just a planet. It's a death world. Everything on it tries to kill them every day. Their gravity crushes. Their storms destroy. Even there. Animals fight like soldiers. And we picked a fight with them? Another officer said, almost breathless. Kale turned grim. No, we forgot. That's worse. The countdown continued. 0 hours 10 minutes and 5 seconds. 0 hours 10 minutes and 4 seconds. Outside, the fleet drifted out. Of formation. One frigate, Dark Bloom, began turning its engines around. Sir, the comms officer said, Dark Bloom is requesting permission to retreat. Captain Yarna says this is suicide. Kale paused. And I request, order all ships to hold. Along. Silence. Sir, she's not waiting for approval. She's already leaving. Kale's jaw tightened. She just broke the line. On the screen, the Dark Bloom moved away from the fleet's edge. Then, from the Terran warship, just a shimmer got no beam, no flash. Just disappearance. One moment Dark Bloom was there. The next, gone. Not even wreckage. All Kale said was, logged. Casualty count, 219. The crew said nothing. Fear had turned into something colder respect. The kind that only comes when you realize you are completely outmatched. Commander Huro leaned close. Sir, what do we do now? Fight? Run? Kale didn't respond right away. Instead, he looked at the files still open on the screen. One video showed a Terran general speaking to her troops before a battle. her voice calm, her words terrifying. "We are not here to win. We are here to end. Burn fast, burn bright. Let them remember why they fear us." Kale finally spoke. "We don't fight. Not yet. We learn? Learn?" "Yes," Kale said, louder now so the bridge could hear. "We record everything. Every move. Every signal. Every second. This isn't a battle. It's a message." Quiet officer from the back added, "Or a warning." Kale nodded. "They didn't come to destroy us yet. They came to remind us. This is the new human doctrine. No noise, no announcements. Just appear and unmake." A new alert blinked. "Sir," said the sensor tech, "we have a match on the second energy signature." Kale turned fast. "What is it?" "It's a classified model. Terran ship ID. HTO-1 Tarask. Last seen 82 cycles ago. Thought to be destroyed during the last human war." Kale froze. The Tarask. That was no ordinary ship. It was legend. No one had seen it and lived. Some believed it never existed. Just a myth, but it was real. And it was here. Suddenly, the message made sense. "Do not come closer. Final warning." That message hadn't been sent to them. It had been sent for them. A mercy. A chance. And the countdown? That wasn't just a charge up. It was a grace period. Kale stood, voice steady now. "Inform all captains. We don't move. We don't scan. We don't speak. But, sir, if anyone crosses that line again, we may not survive the next warning." And as the counter ticked to 0 hours 7 minutes and 0 seconds, Kale whispered, "We asked what Earth had left after the war. Now Earth is answering." The first shot, * 0 hours 6 minutes and 59 seconds. 0 hours 6 minutes and 58 seconds. 0 hours 6 minutes and 57 seconds. The red countdown glowed across every screen on the Vortex claw. Captain Kale stood motionless, breathing slowly, as if even air might betray his position. Around him, the crew whispered quietly, barely daring to touch their controls. No one moved. No one dared. And still, the black Terran ship floated in front of them, cold and calm like a god staring down at insects. Behind it, the second energy signature, the Tarask, remained cloaked, silent, waiting. "This isn't a battle," Kale muttered. "It's a lesson." Suddenly, the quiet broke. A nearby battleship, Crimson Howl, began adjusting its formation. Its left side thrusters fired lightly, just enough to move 2 degrees forward. On the Vortex claw, warning lights flashed. "Captain!" shouted the nav officer. Crimson Howl just crossed the boundary. Kale's eyes widened. "Why?" "They didn't ask. Looks like they're trying to scan the Terran ship up close." "Stop them! Hail now! I'm trying." "They're not responding. Wait. They're powering up their forward array." Kale felt like the world had just stopped spinning. "They're going to scan the Terran ship's armor." Someone yelled, "Before." Kale could even speak. It happened. The black Terran ship moved. Not fast, not loud, just decisively. From its front, a pulse of dark red light burst forward. Not a beam, not a missile. Something else, pure energy. The pulse didn't explode. It passed through space, passed through shields, passed through metal. In a blink, Crimson Howl turned to ash. No debris, no flame, just gone. Every ship in the fleet went silent. On the bridge, several crew members took steps back from their stations. No trace. The sensor chief whispered, "Not even radiation left. It's like that ship was never there." Kale felt his throat tighten. That wasn't a weapon. That was a judgment. Commander Huro whispered, "Do you understand now, Captain? This isn't war. This is a reminder of our place Another alert flashed. The countdown stopped. Not at 0. It stopped at 0 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds. Cale frowned. Why did it freeze? The comms officer blinked. I think it paused? Paused? Cale said sharply. Yes, after the destruction of Crimson. How? It just stopped, as if waiting. Cale looked at the dark ship again. They're testing us, he said. Measuring our fear, our choices. We just crossed their line. And now they want to see what we do next. Inside the alien fleet, chaos spread like wildfire. Captains called for retreat. Others shut down systems and went dark, hoping not to be noticed. Some even began sending messages to Earth, begging for mercy. But there was no reply. The Terran ship gave none. Message. One shot, and silence. Cale made his decision. Shut down all active scans. Cut all non-essential systems. Power down. Weapons. Send the same order to every ship in this fleet. Tell them, if we want to live, we surrender the idea of control. We wait. Commander Huro looked stunned. You want to go dark? I want to go invisible, Cale said. We're not equals here. We're students. But what if they destroy us anyway? Cale looked back at the paused countdown. Then at least we'll know we didn't. Light the match. Across the fleet, lights dimmed. Engines powered down. Ships turned passive. For the first time in centuries, the proud alien armada looked like refugees in the dark. Minutes passed. The countdown never resumed. The Terran ship never moved again. Then, something unexpected happened. A signal, not from the scout. From the TARRASQUE. It was a video transmission. A human face appeared. A woman, calm, scarred, with cold eyes and a voice like stone. Her message was short. One ship was enough. Next time, we send a fleet. Earth remembers. Never forget that again. The signal ended, and the Tarask disappeared from sensors. The black scout ship turned silently, then faded into the darkness like it was never there. Cale stood, shaking. Just survived the storm we never saw coming, he said quietly. Commander Huro asked, Do we report this to High Command? Cale stared into the blackness beyond the stars. No, we warn them. He paused, and pray they listen. Retreat or die. Asterisk, the stars looked the same. Cold, silent. But to Captain Cale, everything had changed. The Terran ship, the silent killer, was gone. The ghost-like Tarask had disappeared without a trace. The countdown never restarted, but its warning still echoed in his mind. That message, one ship was enough. Next time, we send a fleet. Cale's heart was still pounding. The Vortex Claw's bridge lights slowly returned to normal, but no one moved. The crew remained still, as if a god had passed by, and they were still in shock. Status report, Cale said quietly. The sensor officer answered in a low voice. No energy readings. No ships in range. Terran signatures gone. Comms followed. No reply from the other fleets. Everyone's gone silent. Some ships are turning back. A few are just floating, lights off. Cale looked out into space. And what about us? Commander. Huro stepped beside him. Order, sir? Cale didn't speak right away. Then he turned to the crew and said, Open all channels. Fleet-wide, a soft tone played across every ship in the armada. Pilots, soldiers, captains, everyone listened. This is Captain Cale of the Vortex Claw, he said. You've all seen it. You felt it. We are not in control. We never were. He paused, letting the words sink in. Earth has shown us that we are still children in the stars. We brought fleets, firepower, confidence. But humans brought silence, precision, and one message. Remember who we are. Another pause. This was not a battle. This was a lesson. If we had moved wrong, we wouldn't be here now. Many weren't lucky, but we survived. So listen well, this is not surrender. This is survival." He finished with only 2 words. "Retreat now." The order spread like light through the fleet. Ships that were once proud symbols of alien strength slowly turned away. Not in defeat, but in quiet respect. Some captains whispered apologies to their crews. Others sat still, silent tears in their eyes. Even the veterans, those who fought hundreds of battles, had never seen anything like what Earth just showed them. Inside the vortex claw, systems powered down slowly. Kale leaned back in his chair. Huro walked over and spoke softly. "You made the right call." Kale didn't smile. "We were lucky." "If that ship had opened fire again," Huro nodded. "It didn't. That means something." Kale whispered. "It means they gave us a chance. A warning instead of destruction." "But why?" Huro asked. "Why not just wipe us out?" Kale turned his eyes toward the stars again. "Because humanity doesn't just destroy. They remember. They watch. And they wait. They want us to remember too. What happened the last time someone tried to dominate Earth?" He leaned forward and spoke like a quiet storm. "Next time, they won't send a ship. They'll send a judgment." Far behind them, where the Terran vessel once stood, only silence remained. No wreckage. No radiation. Not even a ripple in space. Just cold stars and an empty void. But Kale knew it wasn't over. Earth hadn't returned with war. It returned with presence. And now the galaxy had a choice. Run, adapt, or be erased. Hours later, High Command received Kale's full report. Many dismissed it as exaggeration. Some refused to believe it was real. But a few, a very few, understood, and they began whispering to each other. "Start preparing, quietly, carefully. Earth is awake again." Back on. The outer Rima small drone floated in the dark dot. It sent one message across deep space encrypted, short but clear.